Assalamu alaikum students of class 10. Today we are going to do unit number 5 and it is a poem, The Rain. The Rain has been written by W.H. Davies, and W.H. Davies' favorite themes are nature and the hardships of the poor. Basically, the poets are quite sensitive people, and whatever they look around in the society, they also write it down on a piece of paper. And this poem also has a certain symbolic meaning. What is a symbolic meaning? Symbolic meaning is that the surface meaning is different. If you read the poem and only just for enjoyment, you are gonna look at the surface meaning of what it is saying, but there are certain symbolic meaning which indicates what issues he is highlighting over here. So let's start the poem. So here we are with the first stanza, and the first stanza is: I hear leaves drinking rain, I hear rich leaves on top, giving the poor beneath drop after drop. 'Tis a sweet noise to hear these green leaves drinking near. Now, if you look at this stanza very carefully, there is a word written I hear. And what do you mean by I hear? When we say I hear, it means we are using a certain sort of imagery over here. Now, what is an imagery? Imagery is a figure of speech that is used in poetry in order to make it more interesting and flowery. Now, over here, when the poet is saying I hear, he's hearing the leaves drinking water. Now I have two source of figure of speech over here. One is while he's hearing, it becomes your auditory imagery. Okay, if they ask you, because you're gonna get the theme of the poem, along with that you're gonna get a stanza, and you're gonna have to answer the question. So if the examiner asks you, okay, which source of figure of speech has been used over here, so you can say, okay, the auditory in the first two lines, the auditory imagery has been used. And how can you indicate it? We can indicate it when the poet says, okay, I hear leaves drinking water. Okay, so first thing is, okay, the auditory imagery has been used over here. And the second thing that we have is that is say drinking rain. Now, what do you think drinking rain is? Drinking rain is meaning that we are personifying the leaves. So here we have personification as well. And what is a personification? I hope you all know. Personification means you are giving a human qualities to a non-living thing. Basically leaves are living things, but they are not that sort of. So if you are giving them humanly qualities, like drinking water is a quality of human beings, okay, so it becomes it becomes personification. So here it is personification. Now I hear leaves drinking rain, I hear rich leaves on the top, giving the poor beneath. Now the rich leaves, again, we have a symbolic meaning over here. What are the rich leaves and what are the poor? So it means if we first we are going to look at the surface meaning. Now the surface meaning is quite clear. Okay, when it rains, obviously on the top leaves get privilege from this, because when the leaves at the top, they are obviously gonna receive the rain first, and after that the rain is gonna move down to the next to the leaves that are underneath it. Okay, so ये तो एक surface meaning है. But what is the symbolic meaning? Now symbolic meaning over here is the rich leaves are indicating the rich people, okay, and the poor are basically the poor people, okay, of the society. Now this is symbolic. Why is this symbolic? Because the rich people are the people who get all the privileges, all the benefits first, okay, and the poor people after the rich people get all the benefits, and whatever is left over is trickled down. It moves down to the poor people, and after from they get the poor people get benefit from those whatever is left over from the rich people. तो यहाँ पे ये एक symbolic meaning है. It means कि जो rich लोग हैं, जो अमीर लोग हैं, उनको ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होता है, वो हक फ़ायदा उठा लेते हैं, और उसके बाद जो बचा कुछ माल होता है, जो बची कुछ चीज़ें होती हैं, वो पुअर पीपल के पास, पुअर लोगों के पास, उन गरीबों के पास आ जाती हैं. सो here we have this shows the symbolic meaning of over here. Now drop after drop, again they are saying कि drop after drop. Now what does it mean? It means कि the poor people will get one drop little by little. Okay, drop after drop means little by little. So over here the poet is saying कि the rich are the ones that are getting all the benefits, because जैसे जब बारिश होती है तो टॉप वाले जो leaves हैं वो बहुत जल्दी जो हैं वो गीले हो जाते हैं, and they get all the water in such a way कि वो उसको पहले absorb कर लेते हैं, and after that whatever is left it trickles down to the leaves that are at the bottom or beneath. ठीक है. Tis sweet noise to hear. Now tis का मतलब यहाँ पे होता है it is. It is a old language in which the poet is saying tis, but it basically he means it is. Tis sweet noise to hear. Again hearing. So what comes over here? It again, if you see, there's an auditory imagery. Auditory imagery means कि when your sense of hearing is working, so it means कि it's an auditory imagery. So it is sweet noise to hear these green leaves drinking near. So now the poet is saying कि when the leaves are drinking this water, and that water, the sound of it is quite sweet, and he enjoys that sweet sound of this these leaves drinking the water. ठीक है. So now we are gonna go to now the first question do we have is, what do the rich and the poor leaves stands for? So automatically I told you okay, it's symbolic. The rich leaves are the basically rich people in the society, and the poor leaves stands for the poor people in the society. Now we are gonna go to a next stanza, and here we are. What is the poet saying over here? And when the sun comes out, after this rain shall stop, a wondrous light will fill each dark round drop. I hope the sun shines bright, it will be a lovely sight. So over here the poet is saying that and when the sun comes out, what is going to happen? Now if you look at the rays of the sun, it moves everywhere. It doesn't say okay, this person I should move on one side and leave the other side behind. No, it rays spreads everywhere. So he is saying it basically sun symbolizes over here equality. Equality means equality in the society. So over here one more thing that I want to tell you, okay, all the poets when they start their poetry, at the end they point out a certain ray of hope for everyone. So over here the ray of hope is when the sun comes out, it will spread its lights everywhere, and the rays will move to the top trees, to the top leaves, as well as inside the even to the round dark round drops over here. ठीक है. So over here he is basically referring to the sun, that the sun is the symbol or ray of hope. It is the symbol of equality. So equality in the society. So basically the poet is saying that when the sun comes out, it will spread its lights everywhere, and after this rain, when the rain stops, the wondrous light will fill everything, each dark round drop. Even around every round drop which is very dark, when it is raining and it's heavy clouds, it becomes dark, then the sunlight will even go through that one. And I hope the sun shines bright, it will be a lovely sight. Now over here he is hoping, in these two lines he is hoping and he is hopeful, okay, just like the sun it spreads its rays everywhere, in the same way the society will become there will be equality in the society, and the rich and the poor will each get equal benefits, and it will be a lovely sight. Now this is his hope for his society to become more prosperous, and he wants to have justice in the society. So over here is, through this poem, he is basically pointing out to the fact that the poor are not getting the benefits and the poor are being suppressed. So he is hopeful that when a time would come that there will be justice and each and every person will get his share, and it will be a very lovely sight. So this is the inner and the surface meaning as well. Okay, so with here we come to an end of this poem, and the question is, do you also like the sun coming out after the rain, and why? So this you are supposed to answer yourself. Okay, why do you like it? Okay, this I will leave this to you. Now here we are gonna go to the theme of the poem, and the theme of the poem again, we are gonna just I'm gonna tell you what is the theme of the poem about. Let's have a reading of it. So here we are. W.H. Davies' themes are nature and the hardships of the poor. This poem also has a symbolic meaning. The upper leaves get the raindrops and quench their thirst. Quench means satisfy their thirst. Afterwards, they pass on the drops to a lower leaves. This metaphor means that the rich get a golden chance first, and whatever remains trickles down to the poor. But the poet hopes that there would be equality in the society, just like the sunshine, which spreads all over the world equally. This sunshine is both for the dark round drops of the rain and the rich green leaves. So here we are, that basically the poet is hopeful and he wants equality. Another important thing is the rich leaves they have used a metaphor over here. Now the rich and the poor leaves, if we can say, the drinking water is the personification, but the rich leaves that they are indicating rich leaves, and the poor leaves, they are metaphor. Okay, metaphor has been used. Okay, direct, you are giving a certain quality to a thing, it means you are using a metaphor over here. So the rich and the poor leaves are the metaphor. We have auditory imagery in it. This poem has a symbolic meaning, and we also have a personification as drinking water, drinking rain. This is a personification, and here with this we come to the end of our poem. Achha, one more important thing, most of the kids, they don't make this mistake, that whenever they ask who is the poet of the poem. Now you only have 3 poems over here, but most of the kids they write the name of the poet incorrect, and that will you will lose marks for it. For example, W.H. Davies is the right answer. So most of the kids don't write this right name, because you have only 3 poems. आपको इसको तो आराम से जो है ना, आपको ये 3 poems के poets के नाम याद होने चाहिए. ठीक है. एंड वन मोर थिंग कि आप लोगों की पोइम्स इतनी लंबी भी नहीं है कि जिसमें आपको कन्फ्यूजन हो. सो यू शुड लर्न द नेम्स ऑफ द पोइट्स मतलब प्रॉपरली, ताकि आप जब वहाँ पे लिखें तो आपको मतलब सही वाला आंसर लिखें, गलत वाला ना लिखें. ठीक है जी. Okay students, now this question is quite easy for you. Number A, and this you're gonna do it yourself, okay, because you're gonna write the antonyms. Antonym means the opposite meaning, and I hope that all of you know what are antonyms, and आप इसको आराम से जो है वो लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है जी. Okay, here we are with the denotation and connotation. What are denotation and connotation? Denotation is the dictionary meaning, and the connotation is the emotional feelings that we attach to a certain word. For example, we have the example of home, house, residence, and dwelling over here. All these things mean the same. Okay, but when you look at it, if we have a certain meaning, when we think of home, we have this feeling that it's something comfortable. We have a feeling of security and all that. When we think of house, we think that it's just a building. Okay, residence, again a cold without feeling area. And when we say dwelling, so dwelling is a primitive or basic where people live. So it means means okay, there are certain feelings when you attach to it, it becomes connotation, and denotation is the dictionary meaning. Now if we move further over here, you can see okay, in exercise B you have three words, surprise, amaze and astonish, and all the three means the same. Okay, so these answer the question given below. They are saying, so all these three have the same meaning, and basically it is on the next page you are going to have an exercise about connotation, a positive connotation and a negative connotation. So we are going to do that now. Now here we are, which connotation is more positive? Now you're gonna say कि कौन सा वाला इसमें ज़्यादा positive है according to you. Obviously our trip to Kira Mines was, now the right answer is wonderful. ठीक है, it's more positive. Then we have dash, people rode on the roller coaster. We have brave, people rode on the roller coaster. We saw dash animals in the zoo. We saw fascinating animals in the zoo. So all these have a positive connotation over here. And then some of the monkeys made amusing faces. Positive means कि जो के ज़्यादा सही लगता है और जिसके positive impact होता है, that is known as positive connotation. Then we have everyone had a smile on his or her face. Then the next one is which connotation is more negative. Now let's see. The first one is we bought a souvenir at Kyora Mine. So what are you going to say? You're going to say cheap. Okay, and I ate a dash sandwich. It's soggy. Soggy जो है वो ज़्यादा मतलब negative impact उसका आ रहा होता है. ठीक है. Okay, here we are. I didn't like the dash on the jester's face over here, grin, and then it made me feel dash. It made me feel frightened. ठीक है. Now the next words you're gonna do the synonyms yourself. ये बहुत आसान है, simple and do it yourself. Next we have a metaphor in this page, and that is important. हमने पीछे भी जो poem की है तो उसमें भी we have done the rich leaves and they were examples of metaphor. So a metaphor, what is a metaphor? It is a figure of speech in which an implied comparison is made between the two unlike things. He was lion in the battle, the striker was a goal machine, and the moon was a misty shadow. These are all the examples of metaphors. Okay girls, now this exercise you're going to do it yourself. Why? Because it's quite easy. If you have any problem then you can ask me, but this is your homework. You have to do it yourself, and I hope that you understand it. Here we go with the personification. I told you example of personification that it is a figurative language techniques which are where an object or idea is given a human trait or characteristics. For example, flowers were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So you can get this type of sentence in MCQs in which you're gonna be given the options and you are supposed to circle the right option. So it's very important that you should know what is personification. And over here at this stage I know everybody knows what is personification, how you are supposed to give the human qualities are given to when non-living things. It becomes we are personifying it basically. So here again, flowers are fluttering and dancing. Again we are giving we are personifying dancing, and it is giving the human qualities or human trait to the to these flowers. ठीक है. Okay, now the most important thing over here in this exercise is apart from the metaphor and personification, we have transitive and intransitive verb. Now this is something which is important. Now here we are with the transitive verbs, intransitive verbs. Now this is very important. Transitive verbs are used with a direct object. You should have a direct object in a transitive verb. He wrote a letter, a book. These are your direct objects. This is your subject, sentence verb है, and end में आपके पास जो है वो क्या है, आपका object है. ठीक है. So it's a direct object. What is the difference between a transitive and intransitive verb? That the intransitive verb does not have an object. ठीक है. Intransitive verbs are used without a direct object नहीं होता उसके. For example, John is sleeping. Now we don't have a direct object over here, and in subject intransitive verb we don't have any object. So transitive और intransitive many verbs have two forms. कुछ verbs ऐसे होते हैं कि इनके two forms होते हैं, and they can be used as a transitive verb and they can be used as an intransitive verb. Now look at the example over here. I ate meat. Now over here meat is a direct object and this becomes a transitive verb. But for example, if I say I eat at 7 o'clock, so again there is a no direct object over here and this becomes an indirect object. Now the most important thing is कि how will you know कि this is a transitive verb and an intransitive verb. उसका बहुत आसान तरीका ये है कि when a sentence is changed into a passive voice, it is a transitive verb. ठीक है, जिसमें डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट होता है एंड देन यू कैन चेंज इट इनटू अ पैसिव वॉइस, इट बिकम्स योर ट्रांजिटिव वर्ब. एंड जो आपका पैसिव वॉइस में चेंज नहीं होता, दैट बिकम्स योर इनट्रांजिटिव वर्ब. सो दिस इज द वेरी इजीएस्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन अबाउट ट्रांजिटिव एंड इनट्रांजिटिव वर्ब. Okay girls, now after explaining that, I hope that you will do this exercise yourself quite easy. If still you don't if you have any sort of a problem, you can ask me. It's not I'll guide you, lekin I want you to do this exercise yourself so that you should learn what is which sentences where transitive verb has been used and where intransitive verb has been used. So here we are with the prepositions now. And what are prepositions? Prepositions of movement and direction. Yani it basically shows you the movement and direction of certain thing. Well, prepositions are very small words, but they are important. Why are they important? Because this, where they are needed, because it shows you the link between one noun with the other. If you don't use it accordingly, if you don't put it in the right place, it will, your sentence will not be complete in certain cases. Okay, so over here we have Sarah is getting out of the taxi. Now over here out is your out of is the taxi. We have these are our preposition. ठीक है. Then we have Shiraz is going dash the ladder. So automatically we're going to put up. The furniture in is in the van. When something is not moving and it is static and placed somewhere, we are going to use in. ठीक है. And when there is a movement in something, so then you are going to use into. For example, if I say okay, the boy jumped in dash the pool, so I'm going to use the word into over there. Now we have my friend lives in a flat. Now what are you going to say? Above the shop. Then the boss is coming dash the corridors, through the corridors. There is a garage dash the house. Over here you're going to write the word beside. Now this is very important. There's a difference between besides and beside. Over here we are going to say beside because beside means at the side of, and the other beside with an s over here, it means ke iske alawa, beside this. ठीक है. So this is the main difference that you should know and understand. Now we have the last three. The first the sixth one is we walk dash the lake. Now what are you going to say? We've crossed around the lake. ठीक है. Sorry, we walked around the lake. Then the next one is there is a statue in front of, and the last one is Hassan and Ali are walking. So you can say के towards the stadium. ठीक है. Or you can also say out of the stadium. Both are correct. Meaning out of the stadium. Now we have on the next page, here we go, we have this exercise over here. You're gonna do this because इसमें से एक आया था in the paper. ठीक है. इस पेपर में इसमें से एक preposition आया भी हुआ है. So for that reason आपको इसको properly सही तरीके से करना है. ठीक है. Now we are gonna put they are asking कि you should use these words, लेकिन पेपर में आपको यहाँ से थोड़ा सा चेंज करके भी दिया जा सकता है, लेकिन कॉन्सेप्ट जो है वो सेम होगा. आपको इसलिए कॉन्सेप्ट के बारे में पता होना चाहिए. The fly came in through the door, then it flew under the chair. यहाँ पे तो आप under लिखेंगे. ठीक है. Then it crawled through the chair leg, stopped on the desk, it went around the telephone, and then it flew into the drawer. जब movement होगी तो आपने into लगाना है, and it went out of the window. So here we are with the preposition, लेकिन इस टाइप का नहीं आएगा कि आपको fly के बारे में आएगा. But the MCQ that came in the paper was the aeroplane flew dash the clouds. I think it was like certain इस तरीके से उन्होंने किया था जिसमें through आना था. ठीक है, तो वो आपको इसलिए पता होना चाहिए कि कौन सा वाला प्रपोजिशन जो है वो सही है और वो आपने यहाँ पे लगाना है. ठीक है, तो आई होप दैट यू अंडरस्टैंड. विद दिस वी आर गना एंड आवर लेसन एंड आई होप दैट यू हैव एंजॉयड इट. अल्लाह हाफिज़.